So today, lads, we're going to be talking about Rebecca Lobo on ESPN's First Take. So these are some tweets aggregated. Obviously, you guys can see on screen where they're aggregated from, but these are clips from The First Take. The First Take, an ESPN show with Stephen A. Smith, Molly Karam. She's still married to Jalen Rose? I don't know. Molly Karam. And Rebecca Lobo is on there talking about Caitlin Clark. And let's be real, no matter how much hate it got you in the media, no matter how much, like, the Rebecca Lobo is not going to change, because let's be real, she is one of the best at what she does, and she's not going to lose her job. She doesn't need to hate Caitlin Clark to get her job, to get her job, well, to get a job, which some people seem to need to do. But anyway, let's take a listen.
More people are paying attention once again. We know how much Caitlin drives ratings. We know how much Caitlin drives attention on the WNBA. And for her to come back and do it in that way was just ridiculous. I mean, I'm sitting there at the end of the first quarter when she had that 38-second stretch where she drained deep three after deep three after deep three. I was just sitting there thinking, I've been around this league since 1997. I have never seen that in a WNBA game. Have we?
Like, I've seen it in an NBA game, but not by any man other than, I was about to say any man other than Stephen Curry, but we've 100% seen like Jamal Crawford or J.R. Smith or like Lou Williams do something like this, or Peyton Pritchard. There are all these spark plugs, but the maddest thing is that it's very rare that these like crazy spark plug scorers that can do this are also the best facilitators on their team. That's very rare.
We've seen players go on runs, of course we have, but not like that. Not where a couple of the three-pointers are from 30-plus feet. It was an exhibition by her. After being out for 19 days to recover from an injury, couple that with the other passes that she made and some of the other plays, it was just ridiculous. It's not often that you're watching the WNBA, or that I'm watching it, and I'm like, wow, I've just never seen this before. It means a lot.
Yeah, like, she's not wrong. She's not wrong. Like, the only thing in recent times in like a game that kind of mattered. And again, look, in an NBA, WNBA regular season games seem to mean more, because there's only 44 games in a season, maybe 45. If the Fever just beat the Sun and unless somehow the Dream go and beat the Liberty, it is a case where they're in the Commissioner's Cup final, so they have 45 games. Winning the Commissioner's Cup this year would be legit. If the Fever go and win the Commissioner's Cup this year, even if they don't do well throughout the rest of the year, even if they end up as a third seed, winning the Commissioner's Cup is enough of a success for this year, if we're being honest. It is enough of a success. However, we got to talk about the game where it's like WNBA regular season games mean a bit more, and I don't think we've seen something like this since, like, obviously Steph Curry did it in the Olympics. Steph Curry did something quite similar in the Olympic final, let's be honest, to just beat France basically by himself. But like, let's take a listen to what she's saying, the shooting comparisons to Steph and Curry.
Caitlin Clark certainly looked like that for the WNBA in terms of. Stephen, it's funny because I was listening to your last segment where you were talking about Steph Curry and you said he's the greatest shooter God ever created. On Saturday, Caitlin Clark certainly looked like that.
Caitlin Clark is the best long shooter ever created. There is nobody that can shoot from that distance like Caitlin Clark. And it's not that players can't make a similar percentage. Like Damian Lillard makes a crazy, like, can make long threes. Sorry, focus a little bit off. Dame Lillard can. Steph Curry can. The difference is that Caitlin Clark can do it while sprinting forward. None of them sprint forward. Like, Steph Curry hit a game winner like that against Oklahoma, and it was seen as a crazy thing. And this was a decade ago. People still talk about it. But people don't realize Caitlin Clark goes full speed straight and pulls up. She will pull up on full speed. There's nobody that does that. There is nobody that shoots like Caitlin Clark. Yes, there are better shooters than Caitlin Clark. Wide open shooters, I think you can argue Paige is a better shooter wide open. But it's how she shoots. And it's the reason why her gravity is different to even that of Curry. She doesn't have the off-the-ball gravity of Curry. But, like, I've never seen a person sprint into those shots like Caitlin. And there's never been a player that's been able to do that. So she's a different type of shooter to a Curry. Curry's a better off-ball shooter. Curry's movement is unbelievable. Curry can dance. Curry can hit those step backs. But like her range and her ability to just sway and get power from her legs is something that we've just in the way she does it is something that there does not exist in high-level sport. Yeah, sure, there's probably some kid playing like low-level ball that can do that against bums. But like at the pro level, no, there's no one that does it like in the exact way Caitlin Clark does. So there's no comparison to Caitlin Clark. Let's be honest.
For the WNBA in terms of what she was able to do as a player. She finished last year 4th in MVP voting. This is a player this year is second favorite right now in MVP, right behind Nafisa Collier. Last year she was the best guard in the league. So, in terms of the context of the history of the league, time will tell. But in terms of the impact she has had both on and off the court and one season plus, it's certainly right up there. We were talking with our crew after the game. We got at least 10 more years of watching Caitlin in her absolute prime. And it's so exciting. It's so fun to watch her. She's certainly the most exciting player, certainly the most fun player to watch in the league right now. And we're just going to see kind of her legacy continue to grow as she has more performances like we saw on Saturday. And again, time will show how long is it going to take her to get that Indiana Fever team to a WNBA champion.
Yeah, I'm not going to disagree with a word she said. Like, Caitlin Clark is the most must-watch basketball player in world basketball right now. Yeah, there are maybe like teams that might be more must-watch. Yes, the finals is more must-watch than Caitlin Clark. Let's be honest. She has the game 6 of the finals, I think, clashes with her game against Golden State. Yeah, realistically, most people are going to be watching game 6 instead of that game against Golden State. And fine. Fair. Absolutely fair. Completely justifiable. However, there's no more exciting player in women's basketball. There's no more exciting player in basketball. There's nobody that does what Caitlin Clark does. Like, you are looking, have you guys not seen the like compilation of reactions? Like, looking at like Flight Reacts, like these casual basketball fans are watching WNBA, and the better Caitlin Clark is, the more fun Caitlin Clark is to watch, the better it is for the league. Like, if we see Stephanie White trying to slow Caitlin Clark down, if I'm Kathy Engelbert, I'm calling the Indiana Fever and going, you need to change. And if they say, oh, but we think we can win more this way, and it's like, we don't care. We don't care. You will destroy the league if you don't let Caitlin be Caitlin. Because let's be honest, there are the players coming through. There's no Caitlin Clark coming through. There's not. There's good players. Sarah Strong's being the best of which, followed by Juju Watkins, followed by Hidalgo, followed by maybe Michaela Blake's. I don't know. We'll see what Aaliyah Chavez does. We'll see how these other players do. But like, none of them are as exciting to watch as Caitlin. But you better believe all I'm going to say is the talent level of young players coming through into WNBA is better than ever. It is better than ever. Like, the amount of high-level players coming through is scary. So anyway, lads, I'll see you guys.